If I wanted to get a book, I went to Borders. If I wanted to, so if I wanted to get music, I went somewhere else. When things first moved online, we had the same thing, right? So if I wanted books, I went to Amazon. If I wanted music, I went to iTunes. But now it's all starting to come together, and so I get all of my content in the same place. And certainly the iTunes store has had a big impact on that. And you can get your iPad applications, your iTunes, all of it coming together, and that requires that the network get a little more intelligent about how it delivers things. The other thing that's happening, because the end user devices are getting smarter and the people's are more mobile, is that they want to have the same experience no matter where they are. So what that's driving is that the online experience is much more like a utility, right? It doesn't matter where I am, doesn't matter what kind of a device I have. I want to have the same kind of experience. So, on my Android phone, I have my Facebook client, I have my Twitter, and I want that same experience of that I had on my PC on my handset. I don't want to worry about where I am, what kind of device I have. I just want to be able to do stuff. And that's driving the software industry then in the direction of being much more delivering services rather than being dedicated purpose. So we see Microsoft moving into online. We see, Oracle now with Sun very much a player in the whole cloud computing environment. So that the experiences are going online, the delivery of things is obviously online, and that has an impact on the software business. So what does that really mean for the telecommunications operators? The first is that today that they're very much in the role of a pipe, right? So if I'm AT&T or Verizon or T-Mobile, I'm just delivering bits. The content providers give me bits, I deliver them through the end user device. And I do it very effectively, very cost effectively, very reliably, but I'm really just worrying about delivering bits. But it's not clear that this is a sustainable model, right? And even going away from the all-you-can-eat data plans is not going to allow the operators to add the value that they should be able to add. And the things that are going to happen over the next 5 years are that we're going to get a whole lot more mobile broadband subscribers worldwide, about 3 billion more. Fixed broadband is going to continue to grow. One of the major trends is that we're going to see more things. Right now, telecommunications networks are oriented around it's a person who wants to communicate. That's starting to change, and it's going to change very rapidly as we start to have devices communicating. So the simple example is my meter, right? Rather than somebody walking around and reading my electric meter or my gas meter, they'll simply report in wirelessly over the same mobile network that your cell phone is using, right? But it has different characteristics, right? It's very short transactions. It's very bursty, and so the network is going to have to change to be able to support that explosion of users. In China, we've got 400 plus about 500 million, I guess today, mobile users, but that we're going to have that number of machine types of things worldwide, and so very quickly we're going to have an Internet of Things, right? And that as the mobile broadband goes up, as the applications grow, certainly home networking, we've seen Apple has announced the new Apple TV, Google's got Google TV, Boxy, Roxio. I mean, everyone is getting into the how do I deliver to the users in their home the experience they want. I think you went through our demonstration center here as well as in Shenzhen. I mean, one of the things that Huawei has come out with is a 7-inch tablet that can be your home controller, right? You can control your your television, you can do your DVR, you can do that sort of thing. In the US, AT&T has applications for the iPhone as well as for Android that allow you to control your UVerse IPTV. So, even though you're not at home, you can say, okay, I want to go record, Grey's Anatomy, at this time, or whatever the hot show happens to be. I've been here for 3 years. I'm really out of touch with what the hot shows are these days. I don't even know if 24 is still going on. So the other thing is that as operators move into more of the applications arena, then we saw that the software industry is impacted. Cloud computing starts to become a need. So the virtualization of computing, of storage, and delivering those through the network as services. So what we think that means is that this pipe needs to become more intelligent. It needs to be able to support delivering services, not just bits. One of the advantages for the operators is that they can start having what we call a two-sided business model. Right now, all of the telecommunications operators get their revenue from their users, right? It's the subscribers' monthly revenue is the total revenue of the operators. But as they add intelligence to their network, as they're able to deliver more services, they have the opportunity to start offering services to content providers, to service providers. We're already seeing, AT&T and Verizon have gotten into the content delivery business, where they're starting to assist businesses and content providers in more intelligently delivering the flash videos, streaming video on demand, these kinds of things, and they can get money from the content providers for improving the delivery, and that will be a continuing trend. And of course, the operators want to get into the whole application delivery model of being able to have iTunes store kinds of things, and we see that starting to show up. So the way Huawei looks at this is we've tried to simplify it, and as simple as ABC. And so we believe that the major things that are facing the operators can kind of be broken down into these three areas. The first A is the ARPU, which is the average revenue per user. And that's the way that many of the operators measure themselves. So every month, what is my average revenue that I'm getting per user? And certainly, AT&T, after they started offering the iPhone on their mobile, saw the ARPU take a jump because they were getting a lot more people onto their data plans. At the same time, the B is that they have to provide more bandwidth. Everything that we do, mobile and fixed, is taking more bandwidth, and that drives costs. So that you have Verizon doing fiber to the home, you have AT&T doing fiber to kind of the neighborhood sort of thing. You've got T-Mobile in the U.S. is rolling out HSPA+. Verizon is talking about LTE. So the trends are that they must provide more and more bandwidth, and that is going to drive up their costs. So this is kind of pictorially how we view what's going on, and the A curve has been good, right? Especially around voice. As we got more new subscribers, we increased the amount of revenue, and so everything was good. But as we move into having more broadband, things are starting to level out, and the all-you-can-eat tariffs have been a real impact on that. And so, but the bandwidth requirements continue to go up, and as we move forward into having a lot more bandwidth usage, they're going to really start to skyrocket because of what we saw, right? You need to deliver the videos, you need to deliver high def, 3D, all of this sort of stuff, and that's going to drive up the costs. So if the operators continue on their present curve, right, their average revenues are stabilizing, their costs continue to go up, they're going to have a profit problem. And so Huawei is focused around how can we affect the shape of those curves. Today, most of the vendors have had really silos of information. So if I have 2G mobile, 3G mobile, public switch telephone network, the normal, plain brown phone stuff, they've had different products for all of this. At Huawei, what we've done is we've taken a philosophy that we are calling single, which is for each of these areas, whether it's access, the backhaul, metro areas, service access, the backbone, service control, we've got a single set of platforms. So you saw the single RAN, we've got all sorts of names for single fan, single backhaul. So lots and lots of singles, but the focus is having horizontal solutions. So we have, it doesn't matter whether an operator has 2G, 3G, as they move to LTE, that we have a single answer for them, a single platform that can evolve with them, so they don't have to be constantly throwing out their investments and starting over again. And so this is how we think that we can affect their curves. So from the revenue side, we have service markets. We're doing Android devices at lower price points. We have smart mobile broadband, our IPTV types of things. So we think there are a lot of things that we're doing that can help the operators increase their revenue. At the same time, because we have all of this technology and bandwidth, we can help them to flatten out their cost curve, because they only have to buy stuff once, right? So our single RAN, it doesn't matter, your 2G today, 3G, 4G tomorrow. It's just new software, right? You don't have to buy a whole new platform. In the core network, where I spend most of my time, it's the same thing. The same core network can be used for the 2G, 3G, 4G, and also for fixed line. So, when we talk to mobile operators that are getting into fixed line, like Vodafone, where they're offering fixed line services as well as mobile, then they only need one core network. They don't need multiple core networks. So it really makes it much more cost effective. And so that really is our focus, is to be able to help the operators by changing the shape of these curves, getting more revenue, controlling their costs, and that's both capital expenditures as well as operating expenses. One of the things that Huawei is very focused on is to make it easier to manage the network, because networks are getting very, very complicated. And the old way of managing analog kinds of networks don't work as you're going into IP. And so the management systems have to become much more intelligent, and we have to focus around the user's experience. So we have a number of new management systems that are based around doing fault locating, that are based around measuring user experience, and these are really helping the operators.